So this is my independence breakfast, and I am going to be making coconut bake. I actually have a video on the channel already. I will link it in the description box below so you can have a look at it. But today I am doing it a little bit different. I am going to be adding in some almond flour and some oat flour. So I have the usual, which is the plain flour, sugar, yeast, baking powder, salt, coconut milk, and I also have some shortening. So I'm starting off by adding in my coconut as well as the sugar, and I'm going in with my shortening, which I did actually warm a little bit just so that it's loose, a little bit loose. And then I'm going in with my yeast and salt to help balance off the flavor. After I would have mixed up the coconut and everything together, I'm going in with my flours. And as I said, I did use some almond flour that I actually made from scratch. Of course, I'm going in with my homemade oat flour as well. And I am going to mix them all up together. And once I would have done that, next I'm going to proceed by adding in my coconut milk. So I'm just going to mix that in, and once it's finished I will come back to show you what the dough looks like. So here is my dough. I'm just going to set that aside and leave it to rest for about 25 minutes, and while that is happening we will move on to the saltfish, adding in some coconut oil. And next we are going to move on to adding in the seasonings. Now usually I would add in some green seasoning, but I don't have any other more. They're actually out of, so I need to make some more. And I'm just going in with my onion and my garlic, followed by my bell peppers, and we are going to simply mix it up really well and allow it to saute for a couple minutes so that the flavors come through. Once the onions and the garlic and the peppers are sauteed nicely, I am next going to go in with my tomatoes, and I am going to follow up with the carrots. And then just mix it really well until it's combined. Once I have added the tomatoes, next I'm going to go in with my seasoned or de-seasoned saltfish and mix that in really well. And once I mix it in, I would also taste for flavor and add salt as needed. So once it has been fully incorporated together, I'm going to allow it to saute for a few minutes on low heat, and then I will move on to the bake. The bake is ready. It has risen, as you can see, and here I have my baking sheet I will be using. I also have here some extra flour that I'm just going to put on my hand and just to gently knead it before I cut it up into smaller pieces. Eyeballing it here. It don't have to be all that perfect. Once I would have cut them into 6 smaller balls, I am simply going to fold them or roll them into smaller bake. I'm just using my hands by simply just folding it into it, or folding the dough into itself and then simply pressing it out, and then just using my fingertips to spread it. So I will finish and come back to show you. This is what they are looking like, and next I'm just going to make my impressions by using a fork. So here is the finished bake. Now it's time to place it in the oven, and I will place it there for about 25 to 30 minutes, and you want to keep an eye on that depending on your oven. So in the meantime, while the bake is baking, I am simply checking my I'm checking the saltfish and it's ready. So I'm going to remove it and set that aside. Next we are moving on to one of my favorite things ever, cocoa tea. Yes, if you know me very well, I absolutely love cocoa. And so here I have my cocoa ball, 1 stick of the cinnamon. I have here 2 small bay leaves as well as some cloves. Next I'm adding in some nutmeg, and although the cocoa ball itself has flavor, this basically gives it extra flavor, if that makes sense. So once I would have added all of these ingredients to my pot, I'm just going to cover it and allow it to boil. I did check my bake, and I actually left it in a little bit too long, so yeah, it came out a little bit to the brown side. So once everything has been prepared, I did plate them as you can see here. So this is what my Grenadian Independence breakfast looks like. I really do hope you did enjoy. Don't forget to comment below and let me know what you have for your Grenadian breakfast. I also plated some plantain. We usually have fried breadfruit. I don't have any at the moment. To a large bowl, I am going to start off by adding in the salt fish, and I would have shown some time ago in a video or two how I prep salt fish. So yes, you want to make sure that you remove some of the excess salt and all of that. So once I would have added in the saltfish to the bowl, I'm mixing in with my onion and garlic and my pepper. And next I'm going to give that a really good mix until it is well combined. Also, you can comment below, let me know how you make fish cake in your country and by what name do you call it. So once I would have finished mixing all the seasonings with the saltfish, I am adding in the turmeric. And turmeric is just an option for that pop of color. It's not a must. If you don't like it, that can be omitted. Alright, so you want to mix it in really well until it is well coated. Next, we are going to go in with the flour, and I like to start off by adding just some at a time before I even add in any liquid, and I'm just going to fold that in really well until the saltfish mixture is well coated. Next, I am going in with the water, and today I am simply making the fish cake simply because I felt for something salty, not necessarily salty but savory, and a snack. So I am using that today as my snack. So I am just adding in water, and I am going to be making it a bit on the thinner side simply because I want a crispier textured fish cake. So I am adding in water as I go along, and once that is done, I will come back to show you the next step. So next I'm going to go in with the spinach. I did not get a whole lot, but that's okay. It's perfect for the batch that I am making, which is not a lot. And once I would have added that in, I am going to mix it in really well. And next I am going in with the salt and cayenne pepper. Black pepper can be used as well as pepper sauce if that is what is the preference. So once these have been added, give that a really good mix, and as I said, you want to add water as needed depending on the desired texture of your batter. So this is what it looks like, and what I love to do is to make sure that I allow it to sit for a bit and let it marinate so that the flavors are nicely mixed in together. And this is what it looks like. That's the texture that we are looking for. So next I am going to set that aside, sorry, and I am going to move on to the next step. Here I have my skillet, and I'm adding in some oil. We are going to be deep frying today. So I'm going to allow it to come to temperature on medium-high heat, and then once it's heated, I will come back to show you the next step. So here it is. I did actually add in just a little bit of the batter, and my oil is ready. I am just using my spoon to put it in spoonful. As I said, I'm using it today for a snack. So I'm just going to drop that in spoonful at a time, and don't worry, once it starts to cook properly, it will definitely raise to the top of the oil. So after a few minutes, it is ready, and this is the color. So I'm just simply removing it from the heat, and this is what it looks like. It's all done. It does have some oil, and that's the thing with fish cake, it does absorb a good measure of oil, so you want to be careful as to how often you make it. Well, for me, it's once in a very long while, that is, I would make fish cake. But this is what it looks like, and as I said, I am using it for a snack today. So I'm just going to allow it to drain, and this is what it looks like. I have some condiment, which is ketchup, but any condiment of choice can be used with that. I'm going to start off by prepping the callaloo leaves, chives, plantain, and the breadfruit. So I'm starting with the breadfruit first. I did wash it, now I'm just cutting it down the middle. When making oilong, you want to look for a breadfruit that is perfect in the sense that it's in between. It's not ripe, neither is it green, but it's full and the inside is on the yellow side. Yellow not for ripening, but yellow as in the natural color. And once I would have cut it into halves and quarters, I went down and cut it smaller. It's easier for peeling the breadfruit. Oilong is a national dish, and it's something that we take pride in making as Grenadians, and I absolutely love oilong. So once I would have finished peeling that, I am just going to cut off the guts. Now, any Grenadians out there or any persons who are associated with Grenada, could you comment below and let me know how you make oilong? So we removed the guts or the top part that is not good for eating, and this is exactly what you're looking for. You don't want to remove too much of the guts or too much of the flesh, and yeah, because you want to make sure that it does not melt. Next, we're moving on to the plantain, and I did clean and wash that. Next, I am moving on to my callaloo leaves, which I would have washed and everything. Here are the chives, and this is the breadfruit and the plantain, which I did cut into chunks in a way. Yes, I did cut it into chunks, and I'm setting that aside and move on to grating the coconut. Here is the finished, sorry, I'm not sure what's happening with my voice. Here's the finished grated coconut, and I'm just pouring some water over the grater and onto my hands to get rid of the excess coconut that is there. Next, I'm just going to add in some more water and squeeze that milk out of the coconut, as you can see here. So once I'm done, I will come back to show you. Here is the coconut milk. I'm just going to take my turmeric and add that in. And turmeric is added to oilong to give it a nice vibrant yellow color. So once that has been added, we are going to move it around until it has dissolved completely. Once it has been dissolved, you want to set that aside and move on. Now it's time to pack the ingredients into the pot. And my pot is not very wide, but I am going to pack it to the size of the pot, and we are going to be creating a well, and you will see why we create that well. Next, I'm going in with the plantain. Also, you can add things like green fig and yam to this. I'm just using these two ingredients today. Next, I'm going in with the smoked bones and also the saltfish, which definitely goes into the middle, basically to help with the cooking process of the meat as well as flavoring of the pot. Once that has been done, we are covering that with the callaloo leaves, and here it is all nicely covered. So I am going in with some carrots and some okra, and we're going to put that right over there, as you can see here. Next, I am going to go in with my seasoning, and I'm very simple with my seasoning. Here I have the chives that I did cut up further, as well as some garlic, and I'm going in with my green seasoning, which basically takes care